Alright, here we have LED check. This is a LED screen test pattern generating software. I'm just going to run you through a few of the features, give you a rundown of it all. So this is the UI. We've got our settings and canvas and screens and test patterns over here, and on the right hand side we've got our canvas preview and our screen preview. The canvas is expanding and the screen is a set size, so we'll go more into that as we make a canvas. So let's get straight into it. Add a canvas, and as you've made a new canvas, the text field automatically comes into focus. So we'll just name that. It automatically makes a 1920 by 1080. You can choose whatever size you want, up to 10 megapixels. I've had to limit it at 10 megapixels just with the video engine that I've used. Anything above 10 megapixels chugs a bit. Labels, so it's basically just the name of the canvas and its resolution. You can choose any of those locations. I'm just using the up and down arrows with that in focus. You've got a screen raster. You can do Option Q, or with it highlighted, you can just use the space bar or enter, whatever you're feeling. Now the screen. So when you make a canvas, automatically it will make one screen for you. I've just clicked on the screen. If I hit the right arrow, it will put in focus the screen text field. So we just made it screen 1. Now we've got to assign the panels to it. So we've got, I'm going to remove that panel for now. So I've got a couple of dummy panels in here, but we can make our own. So add panel, we'll just say panel 1. Model, we'll just say model 1. We'll make it a width of 124 with a height of 128 just to make it weird. And you can choose the modules and rows. Now this is helpful for a feature later on. So 2 columns of modules, we'll say 4 rows. We'll save that. And next is the columns and rows. So we can do like an 8 by 4. And as you make that, I'll just expand the screen. A screen automatically happens with the grid and the screen name already selected. So as you can see here, the grid and the screen name already selected. Next is the X and Y position. So you just got 20, 20 just to get it off the edge, if that's what you like to do. Next is the configure data lines. So you got your data lines at the screen. You've got your A data line, let's just say we've done that, then your B data line, and this shows up in one of the test patterns once it's done. So you just, obviously you saw what I did there, you can change the directions whatever direction it goes, and I'll show you another one, the custom one, shortly. Now that you've got a screen and panel set up, we can have a look at the test patterns. So put the locations, there's all the columns and rows. The resolution, the X and Y position, data lines. So here is your data line. So you've got your A and your B feeds, and that's where, well, the idea is that's where your main feed's coming in of each of those, and obviously the end of the data line would be your backup. So if your driver doesn't do that, then, well, now this does. Logo, that's for when we import a logo. We'll put that in shortly. Screen name. So the cool thing about the screen name, when you input the text, it automatically sizes, so it always fits, but you can also change it to whatever size you want. So if you've just got one letter, you can, do it as you want, and if the sizes aren't big enough, you can make it whatever size you want, which is a bit overkill, but that's the fun. Alright, so screen 1. We'll go back to screen 1. We've got our grids, circle in the corners, cross, and the screen raster, but you can't see the screen raster unless the grid's off. All of these have a keyboard shortcut, so you got so holding down the Option key, G for grid, C for circle center, O for circles in the corners, X for cross, R for raster, locations is E, resolution is I, X position is P, screen name is N. Option L is logo. Now let's put a logo in. So we can go import here. I've just got some geometric patterns. I'll use this one here, it's a pretty good example. You've got your logo, you can do sizing, X and Y position, and you've got some preset positions here, and you can get pretty funky with these as well. And then you've got your logo order, so it just makes the logo sit beneath the test patterns. Next up is we've got our test pattern colors. So we've got our options here. We've got a generic rainbow, and this is just a brightness slider. RGB CMY, pixel hunt. Now this is probably the coolest feature of this app. So we've got your grey on grey. You can choose, hit this clear button, and then you get a clear grey on grey LED screen. Now, grey is pretty handy for finding dead pixels, and with the differentiation you can see exactly which panel has the dead pixel. And then if you want to go a little step further, if you've programmed your modules in, you can differentiate which module has the dead pixel on it. Now if you want to hone in a bit more, you can go just red, green and blue to find your dead pixels, which is awesome. Now if you do option P from anywhere in the app, you get your pixel hunt on, and option L, which is right next to the P, it's sort of a keyboard shortcut that doesn't really make any sense, but it's really close to the P, and that's how you get your clear from anywhere in the app. Next up is the color. So this is basically some generic color test patterns in some checkered fashions. So every time you go onto this screen, it'll randomly select a new color for you. So you don't have to worry about selecting a color unless you really want to. You've got your block, and then you've got some variants of the test patterns down below. So depending on what they are, they'll deselect and select each other. Now, some more keyboard shortcuts. You can, with this in focus, you can go up and down and select any of the test patterns, and any of the variants. You hold in option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will alter any of the checkboxes below. So we'll go to checked, and there's some variants with that. Gradients, I might choose a bit more of a brighter color. So I've got some pretty funky gradient patterns here that you won't. And then the last one is multicolor. So this is if you want to customize the colors you want on your screen, and you can choose up to 10 variants. So that's the color. Now the logo feature is new, so I want to see where it sits. Okay, so the logo sits above the color, but below, it basically alternates between the test pattern and the color. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm just having a play now. Oh yeah, what if I do the diagonals for this one? If I make it funky. I'm just mucking around now. That's a bit full on. Alright, so that is the test patterns. We've got data lines. I've shown you the data line configuration and the data lines. We've shown the logo and how to look at that. Now let's make some more screens. So we've got our main screen with one screen on it, and with this, in this one file, we can make multiple screens. So we've got one show, we've got a bunch of screens everywhere at different feeds or whatever. We can do it all in the one thing. So This main screen here, let's just say it's got a column 1, shift tab. It tabs around just like a web page, so you can get around it just like a web page. And it will be this panel as well. The column will do 2 by 8, and it doesn't matter if it's overlapping another screen, it'll just show up. So if you don't know your 124 times tables, never fear, here's another cool feature. So we're 20 pixels off the edge, we'll want 20 pixel space, so we've got 40 plus 8 times 124, so 40 plus 8 times 124, and there we go. So yeah, this app accepts formulas in the X and Y position to help you get around this scenario. So I've got one column here, and another thing you can do is you can duplicate the column. I've selected this, right arrow, so to go to that text field, column 2, same amount there, X position, we want to go plus 2 times 124, and plus 20. Alright, and yeah, all the same stuff with this. Circle, and use a mouse as well. We'll make them coloured. Oh, that chose the same colour. Let's do a different one. That'll do. Okay, so now we've got the main screen, and let's do some side screen. Let's do a side screen. Side screens, we'll just keep it as 1920 by 1080. Make a label on the bottom right, and yeah, we will do the raster. So we're going to make just 4 screens the same size. So we'll just label them as one. So panel, do that. Columns 5 by 5, position 10 by 10, and then we'll just duplicate this. And one copy we'll change to 2. So 10 plus 5 times 124 get us that, plus 10, a bit more space between them. And now we can duplicate these. So 3, 10 by, and that's going to be the same calculation as this one. So we'll just copy that into here. Why is that? I'm used to using a smaller panel size. So let's do a 4 by 4. So 3, and do a 4. Yeah, and with this I'll duplicate this one to be 4, and we want to copy the same Y position as that one, and now we've got our 4 screens. Now here's a cool feature with getting around this. We've got 2 canvases with screens on each one, so we can use command square brackets to go between the canvases, and command semicolon and quotation marks to cycle through the screens. Whichever screen is selected, you see in the screen preview. So we can cycle through the screen. So I'm just going to change the color of the screens. It's not very often, except for this run through, that the colours go the same. That's funny. That'll do. Now I've mucked up the Y position. Let's do another 10 pixels. All right. So that is, yeah, if I had have configured the data lines for each of these as well, it would have spared over the data lines. So I'm going to come back to the data lines now. So for screen 1, we'll do A, but let's just say that the wiring was crazy. So we'll go to this custom one, and you can literally do it in any order you want. And another thing, while you are programming in the data lines, if you make a mistake, you just click on the last one and keep clicking on the last one, because clicking on any others won't work. But if you click on the last one, it will delete it, and you'll be able to at least backtrack and work. Oh no, that's a mistake. So So 3, configure data lines, and obviously you can just do whatever you want here. All the various letters have their own color automatically. Yeah, it truly doesn't matter. What order you do them in. Alright, there's our screens. Just flicking between the canvases. I think I've shown you everything. If you want to get rid of your logo, obviously you can do that. Click that and remove the logo and put a new one in. Exporting. When you've got more than one canvas, you will be presented with this screen. If you've only got one canvas, then your normal Finder window will come up with where it saves. Here you can select which ones get exported, and you can also change their name, but by default it does it by its canvas name and its resolution. And then you just go export, and we'll just put it on the desktop. And excuse my messy desktop, but there it is. Yes, I almost forgot. We have an export. You can display to an external monitor. Once you put your finger over the canvas preview, sorry, your pointer over the canvas preview, you can click that, and you can't see it, but it has, it is displaying on my external monitor. So Command F for full screen will toggle that. If you've got more than one screen, a window will pop up to select which screen you'll be outputting to. And I believe that is it. Now, I haven't tested this on an actual screen yet, and I am really curious to see if the geometry is correct. So if you could plug it into a screen and make a test pattern for it and show me that it works, I'd be forever grateful. All right, enjoy. Let me know what you think. Now, you can also, save it and open and all that sort of stuff, just like any other app. All right, thanks.